You're listening to Mr. Credit on San Diego 1700 with local credit expert Derek Evans. Now, live in studio, Mr. Credit.
Welcome to Mr. Credit. We are live and local here in what is supposed to be, again, sunny San Diego. We're missing out a little bit, but I'm telling you the summer is coming. We're bringing you the most important hour in radio because we're telling you everything they don't want you to know. Today, we're going to hit the sports a little bit. Yesterday, had to trounce the government a little bit in case you didn't catch the program. The president of this country has appointed a national security advisor, a man who was a lobbyist for Fannie Mae during the years in which Fannie Mae, amongst other people in finance and on Wall Street industries, destroyed the global economy. Fortunately, today we have someone who can really set the record straight in the studio, a good friend of mine and a mortgage professional for the last dozen years, Craig Soin. Craig, how you doing, man?
Thanks for having me, D.
You got it, brother. Let me give you a quick applause. Now, we're going to get your insight on a bunch of stuff that's important to what's happening in today's economy. You've got kind of the inside view on how this stuff works.
Yep.
You're one of the good guys, one of the people who's always done things right and held your head high. But we got to hit a few things first off to get things started. We've got the Giants and Phillies right after the show. Right at 1 o'clock, the game starts. Bam. As soon as we're out, first pitch will happen. Also, Texas playing. Of course, the Rangers playing the Yankees tonight at 5 o'clock. That's been a really interesting series. You went to the first game of that
game
series.
one. First of all, ESPN Radio.
ESPN 1700.
Man, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I went to the Yankees-Rangers game one, out in Arlington. I was out in Dallas, and hell of a game. I was cheering for the Rangers. They're up 5-0, ended up blowing it. Yeah, blowing it in the last two innings. The middle relievers just let the game down. So
I'm going to give the Yankee hitters credit for just hitting the cover off the ball.
Yeah, I was deep in right field, and you could hear the ball coming fast at you. I mean, that shot that A-Rod hit at third base, it almost killed. I don't even know who's placed third for the Rangers, but I mean, it almost killed him. Yeah, Michael Young almost killed him.
Yeah, that was a hot shot.
Those guys can hit, man. I mean, if there's one thing about
both teams can hit. I mean, the Rangers are putting. I mean, as soon as I turn on the score, the Rangers are up. I mean, every single game
they got a solid lineup too. I mean, that is definitely a good series. I mean, if you look at from the top, the leadoff hitter to the ninth on both teams, they're absolutely stacked. So that's a really good series. And then the Giants, Phillies. I know I'm going to upset a lot of people, but I want to see the Giants win that one. I like the Giants. Yeah. I like Tim Lincecum. I think he's just awesome.
He's a great pitcher.
I think he's a winner.
Now, this is coming from a guy who played high school ball against Ryan Howard.
Yeah, that's true.
I've seen the news clipping of when you won. You were the winning pitcher in a game against Ryan Howard. He was 0 for 3.
The rumor is true.
That did happen in high school, and I don't think you struck him out that game, but definitely kept him without a hit.
The box score doesn't show that. Now, growing up, I played with Ryan Howard. We played baseball and basketball. Believe it or not, Ryan Howard has a twin brother. Not identical when this guy was a lot bigger than Ryan was.
Wow.
But Ryan was kind of the powerhouse athlete. And then we went to separate high schools. He went to a school called Lafayette. And I always had his number. I promise you this. Now, look, I'm sitting here in a studio not being paid for my appearance, living.
Really?
Not living as good a life as Ryan Howard is, living the dream, making millions, playing a sport. But I did have his number. That is
never rub another man's rhubarb.
This is funny. Rub anybody's rhubarb.
Well, here's the thing. Now there was a rumor about Ryan Howard when he was in high school. Maybe it was leading up to that. Maybe it was a Babe Ruth league. I can't remember, where he hit some 500-foot home run off of Denny's or something like that. Did you see that?
Yeah, no, I was in that tournament. I tell people that I saw it because it's my claim to fame. I didn't see it. I was in the tournament that he did. It was Baldwin down there in Missouri, and he hit this ball to right field. There's a home run, and then there's a ginormous parking lot, and then there's a Red Lobster, and all of us were coming to the field for the tournament that day, and the rumor just all over all the parks, because there's like 8 Little League parks there, like Ryan Howard hit the Red Lobster, which is
500 plus feet.
It was a bomb for a 12-year-old or however old he was at the time.
Wow.
He absolutely crushed it. And another thing about Ryan Howard is I know for a fact no steroids. That guy is pure muscle, and he's just a freak of nature. But he worked very hard in high school. He was a heck of a player, and I think he just got a good coach at Southwest Missouri State, and they turned him into a real hitter. And you mix power with skill. Look at him right now; he's crushing it.
Yeah.
So I'd like to see him do well, also.
Yeah. Yeah, he's a St. Louis guy, and you're from St. Louis. My family's from St. Louis as well. So we got, I'm pulling for the Phillies. So you can have the Giants on that one. I'm gonna take the Phillies.
I don't mind the Phillies though. I like the Phillies.
Phillies have an awesome lineup as well and great pitching. I mean, they've got what it takes, I think, to actually beat either the Yankees or the Rangers. I don't think the Giants do. So I'm going to pull for the Phillies. I'm going to pull for the National League. That game is coming up right after the show at 1 p.m. Right here on ESPN 1700. Save the station in your dial. We're going to have all the MLB action tonight at 5. We've got the Rangers versus the Yankees. The Rangers are up 2-1. Giants and Phillies tied at 1-1. And I tell you, it's going to be really interesting to see what happens in the Texas and New York game tonight, because technically, if they hadn't blown it, the Rangers would be up 3-0. And the Yankees have been a favorite from the very beginning, so it's going to be interesting to see what happens when their back is up against the wall. And also, the pivotal point in their season, if they do lose the series, is going to be unloading Cliff Lee to the Rangers before the trade deadline. And that he pitched a gem against them yesterday.
He's a monster. I mean, that guy throws strikes, first pitch strikes. He hits spots. He changes speeds. He's a hell of a baseball player, and I'll tell you, I like the Rangers. I really do. I'd like to see them beat the Yankees. Kind of tired of the Yankees. I respect their history. I think they got great ball players, but it would be nice to see the Rangers, and either one of the National League teams would be cool to see.
Yeah. No, I agree. So we got great stuff going on MLB action. Want to jump to some football real quick. Now, the big talk of the town right now on ESPN, as we have it here on the monitor, they're showing the helmet-to-helmet hits as being a really big issue right now. A lot of concussions this weekend. And I've got an opinion on it. And I really think, I look back to it, and it's hard. They're trying to say they're going to outlaw the hits. These kids are taught to hit hard. And I really think it has a lot to do with the equipment. I mean, the equipment now, they've got these, super NASA-developed helmets that are there to, help prevent concussions and things like that. But I think it just gives people.
Well, while you're saying that,
I know.
Full disclosure here, there is a screen that's showing some of these hits, and that one
that was the hit
that
on,
was brutal.
On Todd Heap by Merriweather from the Patriots, and it was brutal. And they're leading with the head. But you have to keep in mind that this is what they're taught to do. There's a lot of, it's a passing league now. I mean, if you look, in my opinion, one of the best players in the NFL, most unrecognized, former Mizzou grad, Brad Smith for the Jets. He's a great receiver, a great running back, gets in the wildcat, can kick a returner, can throw the ball. He doesn't have this problem. You know why? Because the Jets don't have him run across the football field for passing bootleg plays. All of these things, almost all of these hits are happening on pass plays. Very rarely are we seeing them happen on a kick return like we actually are seeing right now on the screen. But they're all helmet-to-helmet contact. These guys get dressed in their, their big helmets and their big pads, and they go out there completely fearless. Completely fearless. If you look back, because people will always keep reverting back. I heard Stuart Scott say yesterday that it's not going to be football anymore if they take away hitting. And that's not true. It already isn't football. If it was football, it wouldn't be, his knee was down, so it's not a fumble. You lose the ball, it's a fumble, okay? I mean, if you have the ball and you went into a pile and somebody took it away from you, that's a fumble. It's somebody else's ball. I mean, that's real football. It's been past real football for a long time. And if you go back to the 50s, if you go back and you look at Jim Thorpe, look at a picture of Jim Thorpe online. I challenge you to Google that right now as you listen to Mr. Credit Radio, ESPN 1700. And do a Google Jim Thorpe. Look at the outfit he's wearing. I mean, it looks like he's wearing shoulder pads from a woman's business suit or something with a hat on, not a helmet, a hat that doesn't even look like it's as good as kickboxing gear that you'd wear in the gym. And the reason why that is
You've
better.
got to breathe, man.
Hold on. The reason that is better is because. Listen, he isn't going to go out there.
I'm following you. I'm just intimidated in here.
He is not going to go lead with his head and make head-to-head. Hey, there's helmet-to-helmet contact. That would have been head-to-head contact. That wasn't going to happen. People used to tackle with their arms.
I got you.
They used to tackle people. Now it's about hitting people. It's not about tackling. It's about hitting. And hitting is going to hurt. Hitting always hurts. I don't care how you hit someone. If you hit them with something, including your head or your body or your hand or your fist or your leg or your shin, it's going to hurt them. And we have to understand that. So if you
can't go into these games with the mentality that you're just going to arm tackle. I mean, these guys got to get themselves psyched up.
That's what I'm saying. But the reason they're doing that is because of the equipment. Because the equipment's advanced. They have a lot of pads on. They feel invincible. They go out. They don't think they can get hurt. They go out there and just throwing their bodies around. I mean, these guys, even the guys who are performing the hits are getting hurt. I mean, these guys are, how about the guy from Rutgers? He's paralyzed from the neck down. That was on a kick play. It was just a freak incident where a big guy got hit on the crown of his head, and it crushed his neck. And
it's like these UFC fighters. They go in and they get after it. They got to get themselves into a place mentally that we don't normally have to go as human beings to handle that adrenaline rush, to exhibit their skills, so to speak, and then you see them, throw a couple extra punches, and the ref has to go rip them off. It's like, well, they're going to a different place mentally, and sometimes it's tough to slow that down in the heat of the moment. And you see these NFL players going and making these huge hits. People are going to get hurt, man. I mean, that's all there is to it. That's part of the game. If you don't like it, you shouldn't play.
Okay, then that's one side of the argument. And let me tell you something. Now, these guys are having bad days. The guys who got hit and who suffered the concussions, Deshaun Jackson, one of them, really good player. Just watching the hit that was laid on Deshaun Jackson, and that was brutal. I mean, there's nothing. He's running across the field on a pass play, though.
Yeah, that's just insane, man. I mean, that's going to kill somebody.
Now, these guys are feeling bad right now, but trust me on this one. You might think that you're feeling bad for other reasons. It may not be, physical. It might be financial. You might have trouble with credit card bills. You might have trouble with something like collections, medical bills, wage garnishments from judgments. As long as they weren't a result of fraud, do you realize that there's a solution for all of those things? You do not have to sit there and be stressed out financially. You have the option to file for Chapter 7 bankruptcy. You have the option. And this is the number one thing that they don't want you to know, is that Chapter 7 bankruptcy is short. It only takes about 100 days. Credit score goes higher. You can put a ton of money in your pocket. Okay? It's inexpensive. It's quick. It's not bad for your credit. It's good for you. It's good for you and it's bad for them. And that's why they don't want you to know about Chapter 7 and the power that is held behind it. Listen to me right now. There's only one person in Southern California who I recommend to you to call to get information about how you can use Chapter 7 bankruptcy to help you and your family live a better financial life. There's no reason to live with distress. You don't have to. Use the same laws that Donald Trump, Henry Ford, Abe Lincoln, for crying out loud, have used in the past to put themselves in a better position and live a better life, because that's what it's all about on this show. Call William McDonald today. Become debt-free. 858-437-0103. That's 858-437-0103 to become debt-free. Talk with William McDonald. Get your free consultation. Tell him Mr. Credit sent you. When we come back, we're going to talk more with Craig Sewing here. We're going to talk a little more football, a little more baseball, and we're going to help you live a better financial life right here on Mr. Credit Radio, ESPN 1700.
If you have questions about your credit, call 858-673-4299. That's 858-673-4299 to speak with Mr. Credit, or go to MrCreditRadio.com.
I've worked with plenty of different mortgage companies in San Diego, and while there are some who do a great job, there is only one that I can say is truly the best in the business. The Craig Sewing Lending Group provides an experience and expertise in real estate financing that is absolutely second to none. I've known Craig for a dozen years, and I know you would be satisfied working with him. Call 888-880-9500. That's 888-880-9500, or go to craigsewing.com if you're interested in buying real estate in Southern California. It's also worth considering the terms on your loan if you already own property. Rates are at levels that just absolutely boggle the mind right now, and chances are you could save some easy money here. Call Craig Sewing today, 888-880-9500, and tell him Mr. Credit sent you. That's 888-880-9500, or online at craigsewing.com.
Hey man, If you're facing a divorce, custody, or child support issue, don't go it alone. You need the professionals at 1-800-DIVORCE to help protect your rights.
This is Rick Jones of the law firm Goldberg & Jones. Selecting the right attorney for your divorce is one of the most important decisions a man can make. Even though your case may last only a few months, the impact lasts a lifetime. Our firm represents husbands and fathers